The cost of IT in business can be staggering. From hardware and software expenses to services like internet and phone, you don't need to spend a fortune on IT to succeed. If your organization spends more than $500 monthly on any service, or you're considering signing a long-term contract, IT Enabled can help you manage your technology and minimize your costs. Contact us today to schedule a free consultation. IT Enabled, we're here to help.
Hi, I'm Tara Watson-Watkins, President and CEO of the Lufkin, Angelina County Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to the Connect podcast, connecting business to the community. I'm here today with my co-host, Blake Pollino with VP Media Group.
Welcome back to the show. We appreciate everybody tuning in week after week. We truly appreciate your support. Super excited about this episode of the podcast this week. We have Pastor Dan Chanowski with Timbercreek Church here to talk all about the Global Leadership Summit that's coming up August 3rd. It's an amazing event. He walks through some of the speakers, the purpose behind the event, how you can be involved, and it's truly an awesome event. We talk all about it in this episode.
Dan, we're so excited to have you on the podcast. You've got some great stuff coming up, but before we jump into the Global Leadership Summit, why don't you give a little bit about your background?
Yeah, thank you again for having me.
Sure.
Such a pleasure. And my name is Dan Chanowski. I'm one of the pastors at Timbercreek Church, and have the opportunity to be a part of Timbercreek, but also near and dear to my heart, be a part of great community and events. In fact, right now we're doing an event in Deer East, Texas, and so we've got hundreds of our volunteers that are out just doing things like painting schools and raking leaves and that kind of thing. And so we love being not just a church in the community, but a church for the community. And so I get the pleasure of being a part of that as well. Married for 23 years, got 3 daughters. 2 of them are in college now.
Oh, wow. And
one of them going into 8th grade. So it's a busy life for sure.
Are you originally from this area?
Originally from Kansas.
Okay.
No. Spent time grew up in Kansas, spent time in Missouri,
Okay.
back to Kansas, and then to Texas. Got here as quick as I could.
Oh, awesome.
And
what part of Kansas?
Wichita, Kansas.
Really? One of my
Yeah.
best friends is from Wichita. We'll
Get
have to
out
chat
of
about that. Yeah, that's awesome.
Small world,
Yeah.
man.
It is.
Yeah. And so we've been here for going on 7 years, and love the deep East Texas, timber country of East Texas. It's home to us now.
Very cool.
For sure.
That's great.
So tell us a little bit about what's your role at Timbercreek. I know you guys have a few different pastors there on staff. What do you do specifically?
Yeah, my role is the engagement and expansion pastor. And so we're a multi-site church. We've got multiple locations, one location in Nacogdoches here in Lufkin. We've got a couple of prison venues, a Spanish venue. We're getting ready to launch another campus in Groves, which is in the Beaumont area.
Sure.
And so I oversee the launching of those campuses and pastoring the campus pastors, but then also engagement. So things like GLS and Deer East, Texas, and other events, local missions, global missions. We've taken a number of teams on missions trips, and a trip to Israel this past year, and we'll go again this next year. And so I get the pleasure of being a part of all of that too. So,
Nice.
yeah,
Cool.
You're busy.
it's busy, yeah, but it's fun. I love it.
It's a good
I love
busy,
it.
though.
It is, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, good. Well, the church has got, I think, one of the best things in the entire world coming up. You've got the Global Leadership Summit. Let's talk about that. I got to attend it for the first time last year, and
Awesome.
man, it just was a powerful 2 days for me. So for those that are not familiar with it, how do you describe that?
The Global Leadership Summit is global. There are over 500 different locations that simulcast this event. Comes right out of Chicago, but it's broadcasts all over the world, and it's some of the top tier leaders around the globe, authors, entrepreneurs, church leaders, business leaders that come together for a 2-day event. And it's just fire hydrant, in your face, just incredible leadership content. And it's accessible to anybody. And so this will be our 3rd year putting on the GLS. Okay. And we continue to do it just because we believe it's one of the best opportunities we have. We got a lot of opportunities for leadership development here, this is, in addition to that, this is one of those events that it's just a can't miss. Bring your team, come individually, just by yourself. If you want to improve in your own personal leadership, it's an incredible event.
You know, I sat in the audience last year and watched this, and I found myself doing everything from like crying and could not breathe crying because whatever they had said had like hit so close to home and had really hit a nerve. To the point I was like, I gotta like get control of myself to like belly laughing and crying because I was laughing so hard. I think I took over 50 pages of notes.
For sure.
And, you know, I was just writing as fast as I can. And I still pull up those notes and I still go back to some of the quotes that were said and things that just really impacted me. I was circling stuff and starring stuff. And I go back to those still, even a year later. It was so impactful.
Yes, and it's amazing because you get so many different voices from the GLS. You get people who have been great authors and they've written books like James Clear, Atomic Habits, and so many different entrepreneurs, people who have had startup businesses and have failed, and so many leadership lessons we learn just from people failing, and it's okay to fail, and yet the successes that have come out of that. And so you get those stories. You get stories of people who are making a difference around the world, who have meeting the needs of people in other countries, and it's incredibly inspiring. So when you talk about moments of laughing and crying, I mean it's all of it's the spectrum. But I walk away every time inspired, encouraged, but also with like the bottom shelf tools that I need to make the changes that I need to make. Because sometimes we come to events and you read a book and you're like, that's incredible, but what do I do next? And I really feel like GLS gives you some handlebars, and so you walk away with a thick pad of notes for sure, but I think some action steps too that I can apply those now and start to see the difference.
That's exactly right.
So you talk about James Clear being there. You've got a copy of his book here, Atomic Habits. So he's speaking at the event this year.
He'll be one of the speakers. Yeah, I'm super excited. Of course, I think Atomic Habits is one of those books that I walked in and showed you the book, and he's like, that's one of my top shelves. So I see that a lot, and he's one of the authors that's going to be there. I'm excited to hear him speak, and
that's exciting. So he brought these copies of the books. It's one of my favorite books. I reread it every year since it came out. I think it came out 2020.
I can't wait to
read
this.
And I love it. It's actionable, like kind of what you talked about. I love books that don't just talk about the theory of why you should do something, but how to put that into action. And there are things that I do literally every day because of reading this book. And I can tell you, I don't even know who else is speaking, but it's worth it just to hear
him.
Hear him speak. He's got some really, really cool insights, and I think it gets hyped up a lot of times in the self-help world, in the business world, that something can be life-changing, but a lot of the stuff that he does is genuinely life-changing. So if you're on the fence about it, it's worth it just to get some information from him. He's really good.
Nice.
And if you've heard of Patrick Lencioni, another great author, he'll be speaking as well. He's always a great ad. And Condoleezza Rice, I believe, is
I'm excited
speaking.
about that one.
Yeah, you got to lead with that, man. That's
great.
Condoleezza Rice is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, she's such an awesome speaker. She does a really good job.
And it's just hit after hit after hit. It's
fantastic.
It is.
I think one of my favorite ones last year was the minister for, what team was it? And I was like, dude, you're a minister? Because he was wild. He was all over that stage. I mean, there were times that I was like, you got to slow down, dude. But I went back and actually watched him afterwards because I knew that I needed to rewatch that one.
Yes.
I can't remember who he was the minister. He was for like one of the major NFL teams. He was crazy, but he was one of my absolute favorites.
Yes. Yeah. So, and I feel that way. Like every speaker, at the end of it, I'm like, I've got so many notes. I'm like, that is my favorite, you know. And I go back and the neat thing about the GLS is when you attend it, you also have access to the content a week or two later, so you can go back and watch some of these things. So if there was a moment or two that you just, man, that particular that 30-minute segment would be so good for my team. You can go back and
that's what I did last year.
Access
Brought
to
everybody
it.
in.
And
I was like, you've got to watch this guy.
yes,
I love that.
Yeah.
So who's invited to this? Who can come? Do you have to be a business owner or a manager to do it? Who can come to this?
That's a great question. It's an event that's open to everybody. The Global Leadership Summit, it's all about leadership. And when the leader gets better, everyone gets better.
Right.
And I know there are probably many people that are sitting and listening to a podcast like this who were like me years ago thinking, I'm not a leader. I don't lead a business. I don't lead but we're all leaders. Mm-hmm. We're all leaders in some sense. At the very least, you lead yourself. And I think we would all say, man, I could lead myself better. But moms and dads that are leading their kids, and you're leading your community, and you're leading your business, and you may not be the top leader in your organization, but if you have influence, you have leadership. Exactly. And so anybody that just wants to improve on their leadership, wants to make a difference in their home, in their community, on their block, this leadership event is for you.
That's great. So why did y'all think as a church this was vital to bring to the area?
Absolutely. Lufkin has a reputation of leadership, of growing great leaders. So there are some great leadership events here, and we just believe that this area can be a premier location for leadership development. And when I talk to other leaders in the community, that's the heartbeat. Hey, we want this to be a place where leaders can develop, and leaders can get the tools that they need to lead great organizations and lead their community. And so this was just one of those events we felt like just partnered well with something that already existed here, a heart for leadership development. And of course, at Timbercreek Church, we want to continue to be a premier location for leadership development, and we feel like GLS can be one of those staples in the community, and a tool that Timbercreek Church can host to say, hey, this is something that we can offer to the community and partner with the community that's going to help us all get better.
So how many people do you anticipate actually being there? Over the last few years, I know it's continued to grow.
Yes.
What do you expect this year? Locally, I guess.
I would love for us to have thousands of people. We've got, it's plenty of space. Goal would be to have 500 leaders attend this event. That would be fantastic. So we're growing, and I think as we get more and more attenders that come, like yourself, as you come and see it and you know what it is, and you walk away with some great tools, the word spreads. And so we'll have a couple hundred this year. Would be great to reach 500 people. That's my goal, and I'd love to be blown out of the water by that.
Well, and I think it's important for people to know that if you can't be there the whole day, it's okay to get up and go back to the office and then to come back. I mean, you know, on Friday, we've got First Friday. So, our team is going to have to be in and out on Friday. But whatever you can come and sit in on, it's worth the time, even if you can't be there the whole time. Yes,
and I think that's a great point to add, too. It's so there are different breaks throughout the day, and you can look at the schedule, and you could attend. The goal is to be there both days, and you won't want to miss it. No. I promise. Like it's a nonstop.
And watch the ones that you've missed. Yeah.
But yeah, if you need to pop out and then come back in, if you need to attend just a Friday or just the Thursday with your team, maybe come on Thursday and send someone else on Friday to take notes for you, and then you guys come back and collaborate. But absolutely, it's a come and go. We love to host this event, so we'll have all the snacks and drinks that you need, coffee in the morning. We'll have lunch provided. So there is and breakout sessions. So there's opportunity for you to take your team and go sit and collaborate. And there's room on the campus for you to sit and if you've got to plug in and do some work for a few minutes, you've got opportunity to do that. So we want to make it as accessible to people as possible. Sure. And so, but once you plug in on Thursday, it's just a nonstop fun event Thursday and Friday.
That's great.
I love that. So tell us the who, what, when, where for everybody listening. When does this happen? How can you register? How do you attend?
Absolutely. August 3rd and 4th. Okay. That's a Thursday, Friday, coming up real quick. It'll be an all-day event Thursday and Friday. It'll be at Timbercreek, right off of 2021 South John Redditt Drive, and we'll have feather banners and signs and stuff up, so you don't miss the location there. You can go to gls.com to sign up, and you'll find our location right here in Lufkin. You could also go to timbercreekchurch.com under our events page and find the GLS and register right there. So tickets on sale right now. They've just gone up, and we've got $229 for the public rate. Again, that's all of the material, 2 days worth of material. That's content after the event as well. But we've also got some promos. So there's military rate, first responders, under-resourced leaders, students, faculty, emerging leaders. And so I want to put that out there as well, because there are other areas that if the ticket price is a factor, we've got opportunity to get some promo in there, and we want you at the event. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
We want you there.
Give them a call. They can help you out.
Please, yeah, absolutely. And my email is dan@lufkin.org, and happy to answer any kind of questions that people may have about the event and get you in the right spot.
Nice. Well, we can't wait.
Yep.
My team is coming. We're ready
Fantastic.
to be plugged in. So
Thank you so much.
Thanks for being here today.
Yes, my pleasure.
Yeah.
We appreciate you coming on the podcast, and definitely check this out. This is going to be an awesome event for you and your team. And we appreciate you listening to the podcast again this week. We're so appreciative of everybody who keeps tuning in and keeps allowing this podcast to happen. Thank you so much for your support, and we will see you next week.